Thank you very much for having us. It's very emotional for me because I'm back in London after 7 years. Last time I was here, I was working in private equity. And now, along with all of you, I think we're trying to change the world a little bit, so it's very happy to be here with you guys. This is the clicker, okay. So, as you all might know, the internet of knowledge has completely transformed our lives, right? And we've seen that in society for the last 20 years. But there is one thing that the internet was not able to solve. And this is that digital files are very easy to copy, right? If I send you a picture of a $100 bill or the certificate ownership of my house, you wouldn't give that any value. And if you ask me, that is the most important single thing that blockchain technology has solved. Now, imagine if we could have blockchain technology plus smart contracts. That could transform completely our lives and be the birth of a new era of the internet that we call the Internet of Value. That could bring the same benefits that the Internet of Knowledge brought to our society with a free exchange of information, but now applied to value, right? So we can allow everybody to instantly exchange any kind of value, from a vote to a reward token to a fiat cryptocurrency, anything we can dream of. And this is exciting, and this could really transform our society. So this is what has inspired the RSK team for the last 2 years. RSK is based on 5 pillars. Okay? For those of you who are not familiar with RSK yet, I would like to make a quick intro to explain you how we built this technology. The first pillar, it's a virtual machine that is fully compatible with Ethereum. So it works on Solidity. And the main reason we did that is because we really appreciate and very excited about everything that is being built around the world over smart contracts. And this is the reason why we had so much love from the community, because when you're building a company, or if you're a software developer working on Solidity, it's very good for you to have options, right? We are at a very early stage on smart contracts and blockchain technology. And the most important thing is that you can have the flexibility, and whatever you build, you know it's going to work on the most secure and low-cost network that we're going to have in the future. So we're all working on the same direction, trying to provide the most secure and low-cost smart contracts network. So the first thing that we decided when created RSK was like, we need to make Solidity standard. We need to work together with the developers and the community, and whatever guys you're working on now can be run on RSK as well. The second pillar is that we use Bitcoin as fuel to pay for our contracts. So you might be familiar with the concept of side chains or drive chains. The general overview name is two-way peg, and this is how RSK works. So you send Bitcoins to a locking account. You receive the same amount in smart Bitcoins. They are the currency that you use to run your smart contracts in the RSK network. Whenever the miner or the user wants to cash them back, they send them back to the peg and receive the Bitcoins that were locked in the first place. So this is how it works. And this is the reason why we receive so much support from the Bitcoin ecosystem, because all the use cases that are going to be generated in RSK will just increase the demand for Bitcoin. The third pillar is the merge mining part. So one of the first things that inspired us to create RSK was the amount of infrastructure that was deployed around the world that was only used to mine Bitcoin, to provide the most secure network, but that could only send and receive Bitcoin. So what we did is we allowed ASIC miners to merge mine with the same electricity consumption in hardware and provide security to the smart contracts as well. So this is why we receive so much support and investment from the Bitcoin mining community. And we're working towards having the same hashing power and security on the smart contract part as we have in Bitcoin today. The fourth pillar is the global federation. So we have 25 of the most secure and important Bitcoin exchanges across the globe supporting the RSK Federation. And the main goal of the federation is to provide an extra layer of security. As we are from Latin America, and we are very linked to the real use cases and the needs for financial inclusion, we understood that to have corporate use cases and global solutions, we needed an extra layer of security. So the federation is going to be providing all those services, from managing a few keys for the multi-sig, for the two-way peg, up to providing very secure oracling services, which are going to be key for complex solutions, liquidity, and many other services that you will see in a minute. And the fifth pillar, and probably the most important one, is the community. So RSK is an infrastructure layer. So in order to make it successful and in order to bring those use cases that we want and that we are expecting from all of you to transform our society, we're working very closely with the community, with the Ethereum community and the smart contract community, with the Bitcoin community, and we're also doing a lot of effort on education. One of the problems that you might have seen as well is the lack of developers with knowledge of how to program smart contracts and blockchain technology. So we created the RSK University, which is an open source content that we share with different universities across the world for them to teach and to create this new generation of developers. And we're also been working with regulators across different regions very closely in order to show them that cryptocurrency is just the tip of the iceberg. We understand that they are concerned about how this technology competes with their fiat currencies, but we want them to see through and the real potential of this technology to transform our society. So what we built so far, as some of you might know, we launched the RSK testnet, which is the two-way peg to the Bitcoin testnet last May in New York at the Consensus Conference. And this year, in December, we're going to launch the mainnet. So we're going to peg the RSK network with the Bitcoin mainnet, which will be announced at La BitConf in Bogota in December. But in order to reach 1 billion people worldwide, which is our objective, we need some additional technology. So this is what we are going to focus next year. So as you see, this is how we see Bitcoin evolving and scaling. It's a stack of different layers. The first one is Bitcoin, that allows 5 transactions per second now with SegWit. Clearly, it's the best network for proof of work and store of value, but it doesn't scale. So we need RSK to run smart contracts. We can process up to 400 transactions per second. Still, that will not help us change the world completely in the way we want. So we created the Lumino network, which will solve the payments part of it,